Hello classmates and Professor Christensen. My name is Chelsea Bowers and my final paper topic and PowerPoint presentation is about all the horrible chemicals in our food. The problem is that Americans no longer eat out of necessity. We eat because we can. And we want our food to be pretty. The greatest problem is that food has become big business. While on vacation in Jamaica with my husband, we were treated to some of the local splendors. A fresh orange from a tree was given to us and it was so ripe, so fresh, so pure. When I turned the orange over, I realized how spotted it was. It looked ugly. Why? Because no chemicals were used on it. This orange was natural. This orange changed my thinking. If chemicals can make food look nicer, preserve it longer, make it taste better and/or increase profits, corporations don't hesitate to use them, and our health is of no concern. Of greater concern is that safety measures put in place by government agencies, such as the FDA and USDA, have gradually been deconstructed by greed. The rules are being rewritten, lobbyists ensure business as usual, and that we are not informed of all the chemicals we consume. We the people remain in the dark and continue to eat deadly chemicals in foods, as author Cyrus Thompson eloquently put it, in his book titled, There Are Horrible Chemicals in Our Food. It's apparent that the FDA has merged with the corporate interests. In other words, somebody's hired coyotes to watch the chicken coops. Just recently, the House, under the new administration, passed the Regulatory Accountability Act, which will create significant barriers for food safety rules. This new legislation is being dubbed as the Filthy Food Act because it empowers big food corporations, while rendering government food and safety agencies impotent. The system of checks and balances has tipped and become counterproductive. Our welfare is no longer of any concern. Only profit and greed matter. Turn on the news, and you're informed of how cancer deaths have soared. Stomach issues are commonplace, and mental disease has risen while attention spans have plummeted. Could these increased health issues have anything to do with what we are putting in our bodies? Absolutely. As the old adage goes, we are what we eat. Here's the thing. Preserving our food isn't a new concept, nor is it a bad thing. For centuries we have pickled our foods using salt and vinegar. Natural ingredients is the key. Thanks to natural preservatives, death rates from infections such as E. coli have been radically reduced along with spoilage and hunger throughout the world. Yet, natural ingredients have been replaced by lab-created concoctions and controversial cocktails, all in an effort to improve food shelf life and create the ultimate frankenfood. Let's examine some of the worst chemicals in our foods. Before you open your next canned good, such as tomato soup, here is some food for thought. An estrogen-like, man-made chemical called bisphenol A is in each spoonful. BPA is known to come off the metal and mix in with the food. Also in acidic foods like tomato soup, it's more common to penetrate into the food. Doesn't that sound good? Care for another helping of preservatives in your diet? Consider butylated hydroxytoluene or hydrogenisol, since it's likely that you're already consuming it on a regular basis. Another preservative to chew on is sodium nitrite. When shopping for a steak, our eyes seek out the boldest red steak we can find. That color tells us it's fresh. Right? No. Not even close. Odds are that preservatives are the reason the meat looks so vibrant and fresh. That steak would look darker and grayer if not for the preservatives. Author Melissa Horvat said sodium nitrate are some of the most harmful food preservatives. Once they reach the stomach, they transform into nitrosamines, causing stomach cancer. The next time you shop for bacon, ask yourself why a white meat, such as pork, has such red strips. This is just another magic trick to make it look more appealing. Not only is our food laced with preservatives, but the majority of our food is also sprayed or inserted with artificial colors to present as more appealing. While the FDA sets thresholds for dyes, these thresholds are continuously broken and exceeded by food manufacturers who would rather pay a fine than adhere to policy. Currently, only 7 color dyes are certified for use in foods in the U.S., further affirming that the vast majority of artificial food dyes were too unsafe for consumption. Knowing all of this, one would be foolish not to ask, why 7 dyes still remain? The answer: because coloring helps to sell products. It all points back to greed. Blue and red dyes have been linked to cancer and brain tumors. Yellow dyes cause tumors and damage to adrenal glands. And green dyes have been linked to bladder tumors. Dyes are also increasingly linked to severe allergic reactions. Perhaps this is because many of the most commonly used dyes are considered to be highly carcinogenic. Speaking of carcinogens, did you know that bird seed fed to chickens is laced with arsenic? Additionally, chickens are pumped full of antibiotics, all to make food more appealing. Even before our food is processed, it is being altered. Seeds are sprayed with pesticides, like Roundup. These chemicals are absorbed into the plant, making the plant toxic. The Roundup chemical, known as neonics, has been linked to the ongoing collapse and demise of bees. One coated seed has the potential to kill up to 80,000 bees. A Harvard study concluded that it costs about $1.50 more per day to make healthy eating choices, amounting to $10.50 per week. Isn't this a small price to pay for better health? As any Marvel character would tell you, with great power comes great responsibility. Mega Food Corporation, Monsanto, recently merged with Bayer to form a super PAC. The more that mergers like these take place, the more difficult it will become to try to change unscrupulous business practices and seedy legislation. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, all of the aforementioned chemicals have been banned because they have been linked to cancer and inhibit nerve cell development. Based on Britain's Food Standards Agency, many rigid measures have been taken to mandate honest labeling and ban unhealthy chemicals from consumption. Based on the fact that there was no nutritional value or benefit to these chemicals, the European Food Safety Authority deemed them unnecessary and banned them from use. This has forced many manufacturers to remove harmful chemicals from their foods, including Nestlé, Kraft, Mars, Kellogg's and McDonald's. Which begs the question, if these corporations can remove the toxic chemicals from their products when they sell them to other countries, why can't they do the same for us? Each and every toxin we consume brings with it a plethora of different consequences. Poor dietary habits have created negative effects in our health. Dr. Benjamin Feingold, a pioneer researcher from 1975 to 1982, believed that our increasingly poor dietary habits created ripple effects on our health. He links synthetic colors and flavors to issues with nearly every system of the body, including adverse effects on the respiratory, gastrointestinal and skeletal systems. The solution to this epidemic should seem evident and simple: stop allowing these chemicals in our foods. Yet, when we see how big corporations are tied to government through lobbyists, power and greed, the solution becomes riddled with hurdles and loopholes. The greatest solution to this problem is to remove lobbying and special interest groups from politics, because so long as this is allowed, greed will trump health. We can also inspire change by writing to our legislative officials to let them know how we feel. All calls and letters must be logged. There is power in numbers. We also need to stay informed. Only through educating ourselves can we make wise decisions and incite change. We need to be the change we wish to see in the world. By making changes to our daily routines, we can impact how food corporations operate. Read labels, shop for organic food, grow produce and cook from scratch. We must hold our political leaders and food producers accountable. But most importantly, we must hold ourselves accountable. We the people deserve to be healthy. Don't we? It all starts with that orange. Which one will you choose the next time? The pretty one? Or the one with spots? Thank you for watching my presentation. Best wishes to you all in your future endeavors.